Boy, oh boy, we got another one, guys. Tim Head, the Faith and Freedom Coalition Executive Director, and Scott Bolden discuss whether age is a problem or not when you're in position of power, which clearly it is, since Mitch McConnell has the second time freezing behind camera, as well as falling and breaking ribs most recently, and other health officials that you can pretty much see without a doubt that his age is showing. Here's that video I made about that right here. I also talked about Joe Biden's brain surgeries. So, guys, let's watch the video.
In this race, that isn't an issue like the economy or crime or immigration. It's simply age. In a recent AP poll, simply said more than 75% of Americans believe that Joe Biden is simply too old. So, how big of an issue is the age factor going to be, Tim, on the campaign trail? And how much do you think voters truly care about the age of our candidates?
Guys, we can't be having old people in office making the best decisions for us. They can't even drive or sometimes even walk or remember where they're at. That's not good.
Well, I think that there are a couple of elements that are kind of presumed or almost assumed when we talk about age. We use the, kind of the number of years that you've been alive kind of moniker, but really people are talking about competency and then also relatability. And frankly, as voting numbers for younger voters have continued to increase over the last probably 12 to 15 years, the relatability question becomes definitely an issue, not only certainly for for presidentials, but also for U.S. Senate candidates and down the ballot. The last thing I'll say is, instead of kind of talking about should there be laws or restrictions on upper end age limits for candidates, et cetera, I really do think it's first of all better to talk about can they do the job, and then secondly, leave it to the voters. If voters don't believe that they can do it, voters will not return them to office.
Scott, what do you say?
Yeah, I think we can agree on that. There's a big difference between being older American and being sick, and I'd use that comparison.
Okay, here we go with the apologist, Scott Bolden, for being old is not an excuse for why you shouldn't be in office. Okay, I think people at a certain age need to have reasonable restrictions, and sometimes, in some cases, need to resign when they get too old. All right, you're just old. Sometimes you can't do stuff like you used to. And if you're making decisions for the whole country or the people who serve, then you need to realize that and make the right
When
decision.
it comes to the Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, because I do think he has some health issues, and when he zones out, that's a real problem. And I'm not being political about that. I was very concerned about his health because I've lived with someone in my family like that. That being said, there's a huge gap between Biden's legislative successes and where he's taken the country from a Democratic viewpoint as opposed to how people are feeling. If Joe Biden is the Democratic nominee, 90% or more of the Democrats are going to vote for him. If you ask them the question, is he too old? Would they prefer someone else? Then his numbers are not that good. But again, it's about choices in these elections. And if it's Biden versus Trump, Democrats are going to vote overwhelmingly for Biden. And the whole age piece and whether he's too old, that almost sounds like age discrimination. Mental acuity is the key. And until someone defines
Mental acuity at 81, at 90, do you think your mental acuity is there? Hell no, it ain't there. What are you talking about?
Otherwise, not having the mental acuity to lead and to do their job, then I think my colleague is right. It'll be up to the voters.
Well, I think we could quickly show before we run out of time. We put a list of the top 5 oldest members of Congress.
Look at these people, guys. Would you want these people behind the wheel driving your kids to school? No, I don't think so. Dianne Feinstein, California Senator, age 90. Chuck Grassley, Iowa Senator, 89. Then we got an 86er and another 86er. Clearly you can see which one that may or may not be there the most. Eleanor Holmes, DC Carl, she looked like she might be the one that's mentally there the most, but then again, I don't know. She's 86. These are the people that are sitting and making decisions for you. Are they the right decisions? I do not know. Like I said, you're not cognitively there after a certain point in age. That's when you're just at home on the couch, just waiting to die, basically, around your family, not making decisions for the country.
See there, Feinstein, Grassley, Napolitano, Norton there as well, and there's one other, Bill Pascrell. And you add it up, they're more than 435 years old. So my question, finally, and I only got like 20 seconds for you each. I'll start with you, Tim. Should there be a law? We know there's a minimum for the requirement to run for office. Should there be a maximum? Tim?
I mean, I alluded. I think that's probably ill-informed. You know, not only for running for office itself, president, U.S. Senate, U.S. House, but bear in mind, I mean, you know, we just had a Supreme Court justice serve and very ably until she was 87. You know, until her recent passing. I don't think the question was her mental ability. It was, you know, I think it's important for us to focus on performance, not just categories.
All right, Scott, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, most big law firms have a retirement age requirement of 70 years old. I got a lot of partners that still practice past 70 at the firm, but 435 years on that video, that photo you showed, that's a lot of experience, a lot of wins, a lot of losses. And what are you going to do with all that prior experience? Those are excellent legislators over the years. So I think it's up to the voters. I don't think you can legislate your way out of people serving, because people keep getting reelected despite how hard it is to beat an incumbent.
Great point. With age comes wisdom. Scott Bolden, Tim Head, thank you guys. Have a great Labor Day weekend.
Thank you.
Guys, we need term limits. I talked in one of my last videos, I think it was the Mitch McConnell one. We can't be having people as old as 90 and 80 years old. They're not making the best decisions for us, therefore we should vote them out, or they should resign respectfully. Just because you can walk does not mean you should be running with Usain Bolt. It's obvious. At some point you need to realize that you should not be doing what you're doing because you're not cognitively there. And if you are, then okay, good on you. You're still old. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching my videos. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you on the next one.